All right. So the ADA Comply Guy software is a very small snippet of code that we would send you based on your specific URL. So it's a custom code. You would give us your URL, like ours is adacomplyguy.com, and we would put it into our system, and that would give us a custom code that you would then paste into the header or footer portion of your website. And we've tested it on dozens of different web builder platforms like WordPress and ClickFunnels and GroupFunnels and all of the major players in the space of building your own websites. But a lot of them are also used by a lot of web designers and people that you may hire for your business as well. So um, it's really it's a JavaScript code based on HTML, so it should work in almost any web platform. And the only one that we've tried that it didn't work in was an older, antiquated web builder that was probably built in the early 90s. So, there have been some updates with JavaScript and things like that. So, if people need help installing it, we're able to, remotely log in and help them just copy and paste it wherever it needs to be. But we also have some easy videos to help them see, like if they have ClickFunnels or WordPress, exactly where you need to go and copy and paste. So once that's in there, if you refresh your website, you'll see a icon that's right here. And we will do some back end configuration for you where you want your icon. So the icon could either go to the left here, can go over to the right in the middle, or any of the four corners. And for me personally, I prefer it over to the left-hand side in the middle because it's less crowded. It may not get hidden by different icons that you might see for help desk or anything else in the bottom corners. So I like it right here. It's very easy to see. And once you click on the icon, you'll see our menu of choices. And you'll see, the first thing you'll see is it's very simple. And a lot of people are like, oh, wow, that's pretty simple looking. But it's designed that way on purpose because you don't want something that's too flashy or something that you can't really utilize before you change the website. So we made it very easy to see, large square buttons to be able to do things. And instead of having a ton of different buttons, we've made some of them multiple click. So that way you click on them a couple of times and they will change what's going on. So for instance, this display button right here, if you click it once, it turns the whole screen into a grayscale. So someone with color blindness can more easily define the difference between a red and a green or different shades of certain colors. If you click on it again, what you'll see is that it will give you high contrast to any headlines. So here, this headline is a high contrast black background with bright yellow letters and so on down the line here. And then if you click it one more time, it'll go into negative contrast, which for some visual disabilities, this is how they're able to distinguish pictures and see things better on a website. And then if you click it off again, it'll just go back to normal. This button right here is text to speech, which is our screen reader. Let me go here. If you click this on, you'll see the little check mark there. I'll go to a larger paragraph down here. If you just highlight the first portion of it,
the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, requires businesses to make a complete the ADA.
so it will allow any people to be able to have the screen read to them right there built into the website. So like we were talking about on the podcast, my son who is on the autism spectrum, he learns well, but he comprehends things better when they're read to him. So this is a tool that somebody with autism could possibly use, as well as somebody with a seeing disability who couldn't actually read the letters. Then we also have the Magnify tool, which basically will magnify the whole screen, but keep the aspect ratio intact. Some of the magnifications that you can do with your keyboard, like if you hold control down and scroll or things like that, it takes the whole screen and puts it out of proportion. And this will keep everything in the perfect proportion. And then we also have text spacing, which will space the letters apart from one another. So sometimes people have a hard time seeing, have tunnel vision or such. Some of the letters will tend to blend together, and this will allow them to be able to read them much easier. And then we have the highlight links. So this will highlight anything that's clickable going down the page. My website just happens to have a lot of black background. um, but then we also have different cursors where this will enlarge the cursor in white. And then when you go to a clickable link, it'll change it to a hand so they know that it's clickable. And then if you need a black cursor, we also have that. And then readable font. This is an interesting one. This will take fonts, if you want to be really creative with your design and use script fonts or different character fonts or cartoonish fonts, feel free to do so, because with this will just take any font that you have on your website and change it into a compliant readable type of font. So you can have your website be totally different font, but if somebody clicks on this, it'll change it to something that's much easier read. And let me check that off. Um, with mine, my fonts are very close to compliant, but sometimes even italicized fonts will not be considered readable. So this will change any italicized right into I think it's a Times New Roman or an Arial type of font that's considered very readable. And then this one has the headlines highlighted as well. This actually had on, and you can have multiple things on at the same time. So you can have highlighted links, you could have the cursor, you could have readable fonts, and combine these things to dynamically adjust the website to exactly how you feel works for you. Um, so that's basically the tool set as we have now. We're continuing to add more tools. We're working on one where you'll have a line that's movable up and down. So if you need to, read the website, and like some people use a ruler when they're reading books, this will allow you to just continue right on the line and be able to see exactly where you're reading, as well as a font that's used for dyslexia. It's called Dyslexia is the font name, and it's a font that's much easier to read by people who suffer from dyslexia as well. So we're always looking to evolve and add new tools to this, and along with the other services that we provide for closed captioning as well as alt text in the back end of your website, we want to work with people to help make these websites fully compliant as well as accessible.